Morning. All right, so it's a new year. Good morning, Bello Mohammed, Michael Lebon. Good morning, Happy New Year to you all. It's a new year. This is 2025. 2024 is gone. It's a brand new year. Like I always do at the end of the month or the beginning of the new month, now beginning of the new year, we need to appraise ourselves. What was your result like in 2024? How do you make 2025 a better year? Just need to look back, look through your trades. What did you do right in 2024? Many times the issue could be that one is not disciplined enough. You need to work on your discipline. You need to work on your risk management. You need to be more proactive with your trades. When I mean proactive, take your trades as at when due. In forex trading, you can't, the time waits for no one. If you are to check your charts exactly 7 a.m., if you come by 9 o'clock, the market could have moved and you will have missed the opportunity. So you need to work on yourself this year to make 2025 a better year. And I tell you that there are lots of opportunities in the market for this year. A lot of opportunities. The forex market, the crypto market. Donald Trump is going to be sworn in as the new president of the US by 20th of this month. Experience has shown that when Donald was president about 8 years there about ago, there was a lot of volatility, a lot. So such is expected in the market again. And for the crypto market, the bull run is here, and I tell you, it's going to be massive. So you need to prepare for all this ahead so that you can make 2025 a better year for trading. All right, let's go into our analysis. For those that are just joining us, you're welcome. You're welcome on board. Chitex, Mr. Chitex, good morning, sir. Happy New Year. And can I see another new person? Please, Michael Ebong, kindly work on your annotation tool. It's causing some distraction on my screen. All right, so let's start. So fundamentals. Now, this week we have a lot of fundamentals. Yeah, this is the second week of the year, but then it's the first full trading week. So today, Monday, there's going to be Italian bank holiday. So European peers, the Europeans, we need to be very, very careful with them. Good morning, Rebecca. Happy New Year. And all day today, there will be German prelim CPI monthly, no specific time, so it's an all-day event. And by 3:45 p.m. later today, there'll be the final services PMI from the United States. But then I'll just go straight to the other important events we have for the week so that we can mark them and possibly plan to trade them. Tomorrow, Tuesday, there's going to be CPI from Switzerland. This is very important. It's likely going to move the market. You can take note of that. It's 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, Tuesday. Now, other important news to trade tomorrow. Well, this is medium impact, but it could still move the market. That's the Euro core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate. It could move the market, and also the IV PMI from Canada. I think tomorrow is loaded with a lot of activities, even though most of them are medium impact, but could still give quite some movement. And finally, this last two events by 4 p.m. tomorrow will likely move the dollar. That's the ISM manufacturing PMI simultaneously happening with the JOLTS job opening. This is expected to give some volatility on the dollar. Now, on Wednesday, the key event to note on Wednesday, we have the AUD CPI. Okay, please, we need to mute our devices. Somebody's devices, somebody is speaking in the background. All right, so we have the CPI from Australia tomorrow morning. It's going to move the market, and sorry, on Wednesday rather, and also the ADP non-farm employment change and unemployment claims on Wednesday. This will affect the dollar and will result in a lot of volatility. So we can take note of that. And I think those are the key events on Wednesday. And finally, we have the crude oil inventories. Yeah. Crude oil inventories will move the market. Then a lot of tradable events this week. Then FOMC meeting minutes. This is not the main FOMC, but we could still have some movement from there. So that's it on Wednesday. On Thursday, retail sales lately has not been so volatile, but we can just take note of it from Australia by 1:30 a.m. But the most important of all is the event of Friday this week, and that's the NFP, the very first one for the year. And the focus of on Friday is always, as in the first Friday, is always the US, even though Canada is having its own version simultaneously, but our emphasis is always that of the United States, and we're going to be trading it live. This is the first live trading event we're having for the year. Make sure you don't miss it. It's the beginning of a new year. You need to start trading, fund your account, be a part of the trading. We'll be trading it live, and that could be your first live money you're going to make for the year 2025. So make sure you don't miss the NFP this Friday by 2:30 p.m. We're going to be trading the average hourly earnings, the non-farm employment change, and the unemployment rate. All right, so that's it on the fundamentals. I'll go now to the technicals to see what we have for the week. This is my weekly market outlook. So we look at what is expected to happen for the week. All right, so I'm on my MetaTrader now, MetaTrader 4 precisely, and I'll start with the dollar index. The dollar index is the index that gives us outlook of what happens across board on the major pairs. The major pairs are the pairs that contains the dollar. All right, so here we have the dollar index on the weekly time frame. Price closed last week. We don't really have a clear cut to resistance, but we have a minor support here and a resistance. So we have a support turn resistance. If this holds, then that should give us a decline on the dollar for the week. And with that, we can go over to the USD CHF. Now, this is the USD CHF on the weekly time frame. We can see that earlier on there is a resistance. A resistance zone is found on the weekly time frame. In fact, it's a key level. It was a previous support here, support turned resistance, resistance, resistance. Now price touched the tip of that zone last week. It just touched it briefly. So that's on the weekly time frame. So technically from the weekly, we're looking at a possible decline on the USD CHF. If we go to the daily, we can see that the last Friday candle there was slightly a bearish candle, in between the bigger bullish candle. But the emphasis is going to be on the 4-hour time frame. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, I can draw my trend line over there, and I'll draw a second one right here to form a rising wedge pattern. Now, a rising wedge pattern is a bearish reversal pattern. So we're going to be waiting for a breakout of price, below the lower trend line to trigger a sell. Now, two things could happen. Price could go back up to hit either the trend line or just go back into that resistance zone before we see a final drop, or price can just drop outrightly. This is what I'm saying. Price may go up, down, or price may just break out outrightly. Whichever way it comes, the ultimate thing we're looking out for is a breakout. It could even end up forming a double top pattern, but like I said, the most important thing is that price breaks out, however it wants to happen. And at the point of the breakout, we need to confirm with our RSI clearly below 50. That gives us further confirmation of a bearish breakout. So we're bearish on the USD CHF for this week. And since we're bearish on the dollar, we're bearish on the USD CHF, I hold a bullish outlook on the GBP USD. And these are my reasons for having a bullish outlook on the GBP USD. On the weekly time frame, you can see that price hit a support zone on the weekly, and this is daily, this is 4-hour. Now, even though we have a bullish outlook, I believe price is trying to form a double bottom pattern here before it eventually climbs up. So though I say it's bullish, I'm not suggesting it will continue going. I'm looking at a lot of things here to confirm that, because If you look at the RSI is still clearly below 50. MACD is still very, very bearish at the moment. So it may not just go up straight like that. I believe it may first have a retracement, possibly back to that support zone. It's a 50-50. I'm not saying it must, but at least there could be a decline before we have a final move up. So if it drops to that previous support zone, then it could form a double bottom pattern. And if it forms a double bottom pattern, we'll be looking to trade the break of the neckline. That's how we trade double bottom pattern. So as at that time when it happens, you might just use a pending order, or we may just send a pending order to the group to get a buy stop order, which we expect to be triggered. If the buy stop is triggered, then we may be looking at a profit possibly in this region where we have this resistance zone. But then let's just wait and see it all form before we start giving all the permutations. Let's just wait and see how it works. But that's just what I'm seeing that will likely happen on the GBP USD. So I'm bullish on the GBP USD. I'm equally bullish on the AUD USD. So I'm equally bullish on the AUD USD. So this is the AUD USD. If we start the analysis on the weekly time frame, just like what we saw on the GBP USD, we can see that price hits a previous support zone. Just a second. All right. So you can see that price hits a support zone right here. And not only that, I think it closed last week with a rejection candle. Yeah, it's closed last week with a doji. Now, doji candlesticks are actually reversal candlestick patterns. When you find them in a support zone, it could mean a potential bullish reversal. So if we go down from there to the 4 hour time frame, then what we're looking out for is an opportunity for price to break out. We have a trend line right there and a second one, which is forming a falling wedge. So we're waiting for a breakout of price. It's possible we may have a retracement before the breakout also, very possible. But what we're looking out for ultimately is a bullish breakout, of AED USD. RSI is already above 50. MACD is just about crossing. I think it already crossed above zero. So we're really getting into the buy zone, but it means we need to just exercise a little patience to see price. At least there's also a minor resistance here. We need to Price needs to break all those levels before we trigger our buy. Yes, price needs to break out above this level to trigger our buy. So I'm bullish on the AUD USD, all of them on the 4 hour time frame. That's what the market is given at the moment. There is no exact time to enter the trade. We need to wait and see the market go in line with that direction. We can't give specific time. We don't control the market. I'm responding to Michael Ebong. That's why as a trader, you have to constantly check your charts to see that things are in alignment before you take a trade. All right, so that's my view on. I've given the USD CHF. I said I'm bearish on the USD CHF. I'm bullish on GBP USD. I'm bullish on AED USD. Next one I want to look at is the USD card. The USD card. All right, so for the USD card, I hold a bearish outlook, and that's very much in line with what we're seeing on the dollar. So for the USD card, if we go to the monthly time frame, we can see that there is a triple top pattern being formed on the monthly time frame. We have that valid resistance giving a triple top pattern, which is still in line with an overall bearish outlook which you have on the dollar. Then if we go down to the daily time frame, let me remove that resistance zone. Now on the daily time frame, this is not a conventional double top, but if you're familiar with patterns, there are times you see some patterns, it doesn't look like the conventional one, but with experience you know that's what it's trying to give. I'll still take this as a kind of, it's not a head and shoulder in the real sense of it, because for the head and shoulder, the middle is expected to project above. So it is still a kind of a triple top because all of them are still on the same resistance level. So we're expecting a breakout downwards. Now, if we check already today's candle, today's daily candle is bearish. Not only is it bearish, it's exactly the same size of the previous bullish candle. This is an indication of a reversal. So it's very much in line with the triple top and the resistance we're seeing up there. So we can now switch down to a lower time frame like a 4 hour and wait for a clear breakout to trigger a sell on the USD card. Now, in reality, this current candle seems to have broken out below. Sorry, the previous 4 hour candle rather is it's showing it has broken out below. But then we should not forget the fact that we still have a minor support here. We need to see a clear break below that minor support to trigger a sell on USD card. RSI is at 49, still close to 50. Wait for RSI also to clearly close below 50 for you to trigger a sell on the USD card. So we're bearish on the USD card for this week. And if all things go as planned with this pattern, if price breaks out below this like neckline region, we are going to see an extended bearish movement on the USD card. But let's just wait and see, the initial breakout first. If price breaks out first below the current support level, at least it will target that neckline, and that can give on the average, it can give you some 40 pips thereabout, which is not bad for an intraday trade. So please put your eyes on the USD card and take a sell once a new candle opens below this current level. Now you can switch down to 1 hour to do that, because I know everybody does not do swing trading, so we can still go lower to 1 hour. At least the bigger picture helps us to know the long-term direction. So once a new candle opens at 1 hour below this support, you can trigger a sell and target the next support level, which is at about 40 pips away. And that could likely happen today. So put your eyes on it. So that's it on USD card. So these are the main currency pairs I'm giving today. I'll look at some other pairs that are not currencies, commodities and BTC. Then we'll round up the session. So I'll look at the US oil. Just a second. I'm trying to scan through. Okay, found it. All right. So this is the US oil. For the US oil, if we go to the weekly, daily time frame, okay, let me start from the daily. Yeah, from the daily time frame here, we can see that we have price descending on the trend line. We have a trend line there where price has made a series of lower highs. So, and the direction is downwards. So technically, we're expecting a further bearish movement on the US oil because of the direction from the daily time frame. Now, if we switch over to the 1 hour time frame, this is the 1 hour. I can clearly draw a trend line right here, and I can draw a second one at the back to form a rising wedge pattern. So I'll be looking to take a sell on the US oil whenever price breaks out below this trend line. You can see price is already testing that trend line. So once a new candle breaks out below the trend line with my RSI clearly below 50, it will be a time to trigger a sell on the US oil. This one is specifically an intraday setup, and it could happen anytime. So put your eyes on it. It's already 7:24 a.m. Whenever it happens, whenever a new candle breaks out, you can trigger a sell on the US oil. So we're bearish on the US oil. And the next one I'll look at is the US 30. So you trade US 30, which is DJ30 on our platform, then this analysis is for you. Now for DJ30, you'll see that last week, all right. So you can see here that we have a support zone here, and the candle for last Friday was a bullish candle. If you look at this closely, you can see this is actually forming a double bottom pattern, which all things being equal could trigger us into some massive bullish movement. So before we have the bullish movement, technically with this support zone, the bullish candle, we're expecting, an uptrend on the DJ30. So we can flip down to a lower time frame. Let's check out the 4 hour. The 4 hour is not really giving much, outlook at the moment, but then let's go down to 1 hour and see if we can have the potential break. All right. So this is the 1 hour. We have our trend line over there. So for the 1 hour time frame, if price breaks out above this current minor resistance, then you can safely trigger a buy on the DJ30. We have a potential double bottom forming on the daily time frame, so we're in the bullish direction. This is a bullish trade. So wait for price. You can see price is testing the trend line, but there is a minor resistance, so wait for a new candle to open above that resistance. RSI is already above 50, so price is already in the buy zone, but we can't enter yet until price breaks that resistance level. Our MACD is also above zero, so technically we're getting ready. Only we need some final move, a break above this resistance, to trigger a buy on the US or the DJ30. So we're bullish on the DJ30. And finally, we look at the BTC. Now, I've had my eyes on the BTC for quite some time now. Now, this year, like I said, there's going to be a lot of volatility on the BTC for many reasons. Donald Trump is going to become, not even is going to, he's already been elected the new president of the United States. There'll be an inauguration handing over on the 28th of this month. That is just exactly about 2 weeks from now. Now, before the election, Donald Trump, part of his campaign promises to the United States citizens is that when he becomes president, there is going to be the US is going to adopt BTC as a legal tender, which means you can spend BTC just like you can spend any other electronic money. And that's really a huge one. So one of the things that makes volatility and sustainability happen in the crypto world is the word adoption. When big organizations, countries begins to make use of a cryptocurrency, it will lead to a lot of volatility. Not just a volatility, but then even for Bitcoin, for example, that has a long-term bullish direction, it means it will go high. If you remember, when during the election last year, during the election of the US last year, BTC was just around 70 to something $1,000 a BTC. On the election day and after, it went to 100,000. So now that it's going to be adopted, as a legal tender in the US, we expect a lot of big movement. But then, as a technical trader, we trade what we see. Now, this is what I'm seeing on the BTC. Currently, price is trading around this resistance zone on the daily time frame. Now, if price breaks above this resistance level, it will go to the next recent high. Now, this next recent high is the highest ever that BTC has gotten to last year, which was $108,000 per BTC. So if price breaks this current resistance zone, which we can see, it will likely target that high of $108,000 per BTC. That's on one side. On the other hand, if price is unable to break out above this resistance zone, then we may see a decline in price to the next support zone. So we are at a critical point in BTC. If you're a BTC trader, please trade with a lot of caution. And if you're an investor in BTC, invest with a lot of caution. So a break above will mean price will go to 108,000. If price cannot break out above, then price will decline to the next support zone. Now, this next support zone is actually at about $91,000 per BTC. Now, what is very interesting about this support zone is that it's not just an ordinary support zone, it's actually the neckline of an evolving head and shoulder pattern. So that makes it a lot interesting. This is shoulder, head, second shoulder. So if price comes back to this support zone, which is a neckline, two things: will it go back up? If it goes back up, all well and good. Otherwise, if price breaks that level, then we're going to see a setback in the bull run. But this is still, let's say, medium term analysis. What is important for now is this critical level where we are at the moment. A breakout above 108,000. If price cannot break out, decline down to 91,000. So let's take note of that. All right, so that'll be all from my analysis this morning. I've analyzed about four different currency pairs and other pairs which are commodities and cryptocurrency. For those just joining us, we are bearish on the dollar for this week. So we have a bearish outlook on the USD CHF and the USD CAD. And we have a bullish outlook on the GBP USD and the AUD USD. We're bearish on US oil on the 1 hour. Now, all the currencies I mentioned are actually swing setup, even though you can still scale down to 1 hour for entry based on your own personal strategy. For US oil, we're bearish on 1 hour, and for US 30, we're bullish. We're bullish on 1 hour, and BTC, we're just in between. We're waiting for clarity on where the market is going. A break above is a buy, and a breakout below is a sell. All right, so that's all from analysis this morning. I'll attend to a few questions. I have just less than 10 minutes to go from the timer I'm seeing on my Zoom. So I'll just attend to a few questions. So hello, Victor is asking about Euro UST. Mr. Raju is asking about gold. So let's quickly look at those two. Now, since we are bearish on the dollar, we have a potential for a bullish movement on the Euro USD. Though I didn't see clear-cut support like I found on the GBP USD and the AED USD. So that's why I didn't mention it. That doesn't mean it's not going to move in the bullish direction, but we look for more of a high probability setup. So this is Euro USD on the weekly time frame. You can see I'm not seeing an associated support zone. Let me look closely now. Okay, I think just like we have on the dollar index, we have something similar here. Okay, it's not as sharp as what we have on the dollar index, but it can still suffice for now. Kind of a support, a resistance turn support, kind of. All right, I think it can still work. We have a resistance there, turn support here, and that can give us a bullish movement on the Euro USD. Just like I said in the GBP USD too, price may have to first decline before a breakout upwards. It may form a double bottom pattern before we eventually see the bullish breakout. So let's take note of that. And that's for Mr. Victor. Take note that it's bullish does not mean it will go up from here. It may first decline before we find the eventual break. So we're still bullish on the Euro USD. And for gold, again, we're bearish on the dollar. Gold may be looking for a bullish movement, but still trade with a lot of caution because I can't see a clear-cut setup on gold at the moment. This is gold on the daily time frame. I'm seeing a trend line, and that's just all I'm seeing, except price, but that would be a lot for price to drop to this trend line before bouncing. That will mean a lot. But if that's what it takes, well, we have to just wait for that. If you go down, let's go down lower. This is 4 hour, this is 1 hour. Well, for me, there's no clarity on gold at the moment, so you just have to look at other pairs. Noel, dollar index is bearish. Madam Onaji, Euro AUD. Okay. Now, Euro AUD is bearish and it has potential to go further bearish this week. From my analysis of this instrument last week, you can see here we have a resistance. We have a clear-cut resistance zone here. All right, so price hit that resistance zone, and last week candle, we are having a bearish engulfing. So technically, we should have a continuation in the bearish direction this week. So that's on the weekly. This is the daily. We go to 4 hour. So this is the 4 hour time frame for Euro AUD. We have a rising wedge. Price has moved downwards. So what I'm seeing it up, trying to form here is a bigger picture of a head and shoulder and a further breakout. So we need to wait for price to break out below this support zone for us to have a further bearish confirmation. So the outlook on Euro AED is still bearish, Madam Monaji. Just wait for price to break that support zone before you trigger a sell. And if you're already on the sell, just hold on for price to continue in that direction. All right, so the last one people are asking is the GBP JPY. You're welcome, Madam Monaji. GBP JPY. Well, from what I'm seeing technically, though it all depends on many other factors, fundamentals, I mean, we have a resistance zone, just like what I showed you on the Euro AUD. We have a resistance zone here, which price could not break out above, and this is a weekly time frame. Okay, so it extends to this level. That's a key level, a support turn resistance. And last week closed with that support turn resistance as a bearish engulfing candlestick. That's a weekly, daily, 4 hour. Okay, so on the 4 hour, this is having a variation of like a head and a shoulder and may still drop further. Let me draw that again. Shoulder, a head, second shoulder, and a drop. Because we have a bearish engulfing, so we should still be looking in the bearish direction, except things change. Now, that does not suggest that, as in, you could also have this is a minor support here, but price has broken that level. It will still drop, sha. That's what I know. It's expected to drop. If it drops, you are looking at your entry below this support zone. So if it drops below the support zone, then you can trigger, a medium term sell on the GBP JPY. All right, so that's my outlook on the GBP JPY. Mr. Sonny, please, what's the relationship between Forex and crypto? If crypto is pumping, what happens to Forex? The truth of the matter is that they are not really correlated at all. You can't see, except even for the ones that have the dollar. See, each of these instruments have their individual characteristics. Cryptocurrency pairs are more volatile than currencies. So you can't say if crypto is pumping, pumping means you are having a massive bullish movement. It doesn't necessarily mean that dollar is buying at the same time, because you should understand that, or let me say, crypto sometimes, depending on the specific ones, uh, let me say that they are more of influenced. Let me put it that way. They are more of influenced, for more stable coins like the BTC now, yes, with adoption, that one they are more stable. BTC, Ethereum, those are bigger cap cryptocurrencies. They are actually more stable than the micro cap, pairs like the meme coins and all those ones. So you can't use what is happening on crypto to trade currency. You need to trade them as individuals, because I mean, as individual entities, because forex currencies are based on the economy of countries. Cryptocurrency is not based on the economy of any country. In fact, what cryptocurrency is saying is that we don't want our money to be controlled by the government. So it's not based on the economy of the country, whereas currencies are based on what is happening to the economy of the country. So you can see they are different instruments, and as such, you should treat them as independent entities. Just understand how to trade them as, though in real sense, you can still, if you're trading technically, yes, it's possible to see using technical analysis, but don't say, oh, because crypto is pumping, let me just take a buy on the currency base. No, that may not work. All right, I have less than a minute to go. I think I've attended to all the questions. So for those who are just joining us, we're having NFP live trading this Friday. Make sure you have an account funded for that event. It's live. We're trading live. We're making live money. We do it at PU Prime. And it's the first live trading for the year. Make sure you don't miss it. If you're new on the platform, you don't have an account, just go straight to our website, www.puprime.com, and open a live trading account. We'll kick off by 2:15 p.m. The news will take off by 2:30.